Well, in race 1 yesterday, Evan Belford, our pole sitter, set a new track record of a 50.314, 50 seconds .314. We certainly won't be getting to that pace in this session due to the very wet conditions, but race 2 for the mini GP70s, the riders are getting onto the grid and ready to go racing. Now, it's extremely difficult, as you may be able to see. There's a few puddles in the middle of the racing line, which will make it more challenging for the riders when trying to go for the overtake. But we are getting ready for the race start. So it is an 11-lap race. They've had their 2 sighting laps, so 11 laps in prospect to heat up the action on track. Returning after the lunch break and after a delay for the weather, the sun is starting to bloom, so we could get a dry circuit come the end of the day, but we certainly won't for race 2 of the mini GP70s. The riders are getting ready to go to the race start. The red lights are on now. They're showing very brightly as they look up. The revs rise, clutches are at biting point, and the tension rises. The revs rise higher. The red lights are on now, and it's underway. Good start from the front row. Eddie O'Shea makes a good start as well. Bailey Stewart-Campbell jumps into the lead as they tiptoe their way around turn 1 and 2 for the first time. James Cook's gone down at turn number 2. He's up and okay, frustrated, and I think Finn Smart has stalled on his bike as well. He's sat up on the bike, so the bike's stuck just a little bit, but Bailey Stewart-Campbell made a great start heading through turns 1 and 2 for the first time, leading this race. It's a very, very gentle start to this race. Eddie O'Shea in second place. Third place is Ryan Hitchcock. Evan Belford, our pole sitter, struggling massively through here. 6th or 7th place through the second hairpin for the first time out of 11 and getting overtaken again. So not enjoying these conditions too much. Bailey Stewart-Campbell, though, seems to, for now, have the measure of Eddie O'Shea and the rest of the field.
I just want to draw your attention to 5th spot, the 37 of Carter Brown, 15th on the grid and 5th spot already. What a brilliant start by the number 37 on the blue bike, heading down towards the third to last corner, and it looked like there was a bit of a concertina effect in turn at number 2, which led to a couple of riders falling off, but they're tiptoeing around the circuit, heading down towards the final turn. Eddie O'Shea is trying to get the measure of Bailey Stewart-Campbell, completing lap number 1. Stewart-Campbell ahead of O'Shea. Ollie Walker, great start for the 48. Hitchcock in 4th. Thomas Gomez next up. Carter Brown in 6th, so not 5th, but 6th position for Carter Brown from 15th on the grid. Harrison Crosby next up ahead of Evan Belford, your championship leader, not pushing too deep. We've got a change of the lead. Eddie O'Shea up towards Christopher from Hitchcock and Gomez tiptoeing around the track stand. They just don't want to slip off in these slippery and wet conditions.
Well, known as Slippery Mill, this circuit, the Whilton Mill circuit, in the wet due to the amount of rubber on the circuit. It's great and fast when you're riding round in the dry. When it gets to the wet conditions like this, it's so difficult. But going around the second left-hander on the infield of the circuit, they basically have to come to a stop at the apex. Such is the standing water on circuit, and Eddie O'Shea is by no means having a great start. Thomas Gomez getting past Ryan Hitchcock for 4th place, heading into the final few corners. And as they make their way to start another lap, this is the completion of lap number 2. Over the line they go now. 1 minute 13.7 is the fastest lap. That's about 20 seconds slower than they were going around yesterday. Eddie O'Shea, though, 0.7 of a second ahead of Bailey Stewart-Campbell in 2nd. Ollie Walker 3rd. Thomas Gomez is up to 4th ahead of Ryan Hitchcock. Carter Brown continuing his great start in 6th place with a couple of seconds behind Ryan Hitchcock and Harrison Crosby in 7th. Farragut Belford down to 9th. Mellor to 10th ahead of Rossi Brown. Owen Mellor in 12th ahead of Jamie Woodcock and James Cook, with Finn Smart in 15th. There is not in this race, we do not have Johnny Garnett, no Kyle Payne, no Alfie Davidson, no Saffron Watley and no Harrison McKee. So certainly not enjoying the conditions out there at the moment. They thought, well, what's better, saving my bike for when it's going to be a lot drier and a lot faster later, or going out there trying to be a bit of a hero and making a mistake and damaging the bike? Because James Cook suffered with that problem at the start of the race and came off at turn number 1, but the riders out there just surveying what's happening. Every other competitor in this championship will be looking at the circuit and thinking, where is the grip, where are the best lines to ride this circuit around? Because of many different riders, not big fans of this circuit in the wet. O'Shea, though, we say that, about to come over the line to start yet another lap. 2nd place is under attack, though. Stewart-Campbell and Ollie Walker. Ollie Walker with the fastest lap, 1 minute 12.695. Really seems to have a side-by-side measure up rider's right-hand side on Bailey Stewart Campbell and up into second place. So is feeling a lot more confident in these conditions than Bailey Stewart Campbell, yesterday's winner in the first Mini GP70 race. So the number 48 taking to the circuit pretty well and the conditions pretty well at the moment. So O'Shea, Walker, Stewart Campbell's your top three, with Gomez and Hitchcock in the mix as well.
Just to give you a representation of how much they're struggling out there in these wet conditions, they're 22.7 seconds slower than yesterday's new lap record. So the fastest lap of the race at 1:12.6. Ollie Walker's on the move. He's the one who set the fastest lap last time round. He's already won a race so far this year, the number 48, and he's going to be trying to close down the green bike, the 1:14 of Eddie O'Shea. Eddie O'Shea picked up a race win last time out at led, race number 3, so his 4th win of this season, as they come to complete another lap. Lap number 4 will be in the history books as they come around the final corner. Cross start finish line to go. You can just hear the wheels spin up ever so slightly as they go through the puddles and on the white lines. It's 1.919 seconds a gap between first and second, so Eddie O'Shea finding the grip. He's now 1.9 seconds ahead, so it's about 1/10 of a second quicker than Ollie Walker last time round. 6.5 laps remaining. Thomas Gomez looking up the inside of Bailey Stewart Campbell into Christmas corner. Not doing just yet. Neil attacking the back of the rider just in front, feeling the way round the circuit. As the laps tick off, the riders will find out the best groove in the track, the best way to take the corner, and they'll be pushing it a little bit more and going a little bit quicker. But Ryan Hitchcock closing up to the back of Harrison Crosby. Harrison Crosby, great start, starting from 14th on the grid up to 6th positions, gained 8 places from the start. And Thomas Gomez round the double left-hander, sizing up Bailey Stewart Campbell, yesterday's race 1 winner. Down the back straight they go, not close enough yet, but we've noticed that Thomas Gomez on the 98 machine is very good on the brakes, right behind the number 99, so he can be lining it up as a power around the penultimate corner. I say power, I mean tiptoe through the puddles around the penultimate corner. Can't get close enough just yet as they tiptoe around. Crosby and Hitchcock could be closing down the battle for 3rd and 4th.
Massive puddles and spray being thrown up over the curb by Bailey Stewart Campbell. Thomas Gomez up the inside into turn number 2. Couldn't quite make the move stick. He's trying to find the grip. He is quicker. He's just being held up a bit by Bailey Stewart Campbell, steaming up the fairings on the front. They can hardly see where they're going in front of them, but Bailey Stewart Campbell not comfortable in these conditions at all. In fact, nearly over a second slower than Eddie O'Shea's last lap time. Ollie Walker still not closing up to Eddie O'Shea, but 3 wide heading into the second hairpin. Harrison Crosby makes 1 position into the second hairpin, passing Thomas Gomez. Thought, I've had enough of this, I'm not waiting any longer, and then size past the number 99 of Bailey Stewart Campbell right around the outside, cuts back to the inside of the first left-handed corner, makes the position. So now Harrison Crosby goes from 5th place into 3rd place, so got some real good pace aboard that machine. A 1:12.446. He was the fastest rider around the circuit last time out, nearly getting collected by Bailey Stewart Campbell at the chicane. Such is the pace that Bailey has got. Thomas Gomez attacking once again, but they've got to be careful heading out to the final corner and onto the curb. Normally they'd ride it quite heavily, but it's very slippery with all the puddles, and there's a big rooster tail coming off the back of the number 99 rider, who is now confirmed down to 4th place. 5 laps to go. We have 6 laps completed. Eddie O'Shea leads this race ahead of Ollie Walker. Harrison Crosby, fastest person, 1:11.746, faster by nearly a second compared to everyone else. Bailey Stewart Campbell 4th ahead of Thomas Gomez. Carter Brown's ahead of Joe Farragher, with Hitchcock, Belford and Mellor. Dylan Mallier top 10. Cook, Owen Mellor, Finn Smart, Jamie Woodcock and Rossi Brown the top 15 as it stands currently. But O'Shea running away with it. Ollie Walker starting to be reeled in by Harrison Crosby.
Crosby, we've got to keep an eye out on the 69. The Mini GP50 Championship leader is hunting down first and second very quickly. Ollie Walker's just in front of him, so the number 69 powering down towards the 3rd to last corner, and Ollie Walker could be coming under a lot of pressure from the 69 rider, the championship leader in the Mini GP50 class. This is the Mini GP50s. He's only about a second in front, so we're going to come across the line. Coming across the line, we will see Ollie Walker, see the gap between the two. Yes, 1:11.2, so it closed the gap down by 1.3 seconds to Ollie Walker. So Ollie Walker's going to be coming under attack. Eddie O'Shea might be in a comfortable territory at the moment, even though he's a second slower than the number 69 rider, but with only 3.5 laps remaining, it might be a little bit too little, too late for Harrison Crosby. Bailey Stewart Campbell's dropped back to 3.7 seconds behind Crosby, and Thomas Gomez in the 98 bike still sitting behind the number 99, but tipping it round the hairpin. They go through the puddles, over the curves, don't want to run the white line just too much because it's very slippery out there. Through the double left-hander, you can see that gap is under 0.3 of a second as it comes through the double left-hander now. Ollie Walker on the bike number 44. Can Crosby power out of that corner down towards the back end? We've got someone down. Is that Eddie O'Shea or is that possibly someone else?
It is Eddie O'Shea.
Eddie O'Shea, the 114.
Down.
The race leader is out of the race. This means that Ollie Walker's in the lead of the race, and Crosby is in second. He's holding his helmet there, so hopefully he'll will be okay. And back to the leaders. Crosby's in the lead of the race, so that means a change of position. Oh, Eddie O'Shea went down. Dramatic stuff in the mini GP70s. Crosby is your race leader ahead of Ollie Walker. Bailey Stewart Campbell moves up to third position, Dan.
Only 1.4 seconds a lap quicker than Ollie Walker on that last lap. Harrison Crosby with the new fastest lap, 3 laps to go, and my goodness me, how it all has changed. They're about to put a lap on James Cook, it seems, heading up towards the second hairpin. We didn't see what happened to Eddie O'Shea. It just happened to be on the ground, the green bike in the green grass, so wasn't quite sure. It's a shame he is out of this race. He was doing such a great job in the lead of this race. But they continue now. Crosby leads this race and is pulling away with 2.5 laps to go. Bailey Stewart Campbell promoted back into third place and is still a good 1.6 seconds ahead of Thomas Gomez in fourth. Thomas is going quicker, the number 98 rider, catching relatively significantly, but you fear doesn't have the pace all the time in order to close up in any real fashion. Joe Farragher
someone else is off.
Someone else has gone down, and we're not sure who that was. There's a yellow flag, and it looks like, well, in fact, I'm not sure which rider that is.
That's Thomas Gomez.
That is, it's Thomas Gomez. The number 98 rider slid out onto the back straight, must have lost the front going through. He's up and standing, running back over to the bike, desperate to get back on. I'm not going to call any more names here because I'm seeing being dead, dropping like skittles thanks to my efforts. There's another bike down there which was pulled off earlier on in this race as well, so there's a few riders suffering some attrition. Harrison Crosby leads this race. Ollie Walker 1.3 seconds behind now with 2 laps to go. Bailey Stewart Campbell up to third, which means Joe Farragher will be up to fourth, and as you mentioned already, it's Carter Brown will be up to 5th place. What a fantastic race for Carter, who started, I believe, 15th place on the grid, made some real progress, especially that Constantina at the start of the race, smartly making a few moves, carrying on and scoring some great points, because there are at the moment only 13 or 14 circulating around there, so even if you do trundle around doing 2-minute laps, you're still going to score points, so it doesn't really matter by this point. Harrison Crosby's not worrying about that too much though. He's got a lap and a quarter to go, tiptoeing his way once again through the horseshoe. 2 right-handers, has a quick look over his right shoulder, trying to see whether anyone is behind him. Ollie Walker is behind him, but he's not close enough to worry about. Over the white lines, a bit of a rooster tail. He sees the last lap board and probably think, I can start to relax just a little. I've got one more tour of the mile-long circuit in order to win this race. Ollie Walker's starting to close in a little. He was about 0.5 of a second quicker on that last lap. Not enough to close in, but Bailey Stewart Campbell, 1:15.0. The leaders doing 1:11. So they are just so much faster. Eddie O'Shea is, I believe, still circulating, so with half a lap to go, Harrison Crosby, the number 69, is in the lead of this race.
Only half a lap remaining. Harrison Crosby from 14th on the grid leads this race, but can't relax just yet because Ollie Walker is just nibbling away at the lead. Before the end of the race, just going to mention Evan Belford. This is important for his championship. He's 1 place ahead of James Cook, and Eddie O'Shea's out of the race, so he will be extending the championship lead over those two in race number 2 here at Whilton Mill for the mini GP70s. But 2 more corners to go. The number 69 from 14th on the grid has dropped Ollie Walker like a stone. Through the final turn, splashing through the puddles comes Harrison Crosby, takes the checkered flag. Race number 2, mini GP70s. Ollie Walker in second position on bike number 48. Bailey Stewart Campbell has dropped beyond 10 seconds further behind, but you can see the water for the visual viewers of spraying off the visor as Harrison Crosby flicked his visor up, so you can definitely tell how much water was falling on the visor throughout the entire race. Lots of respect there between the first two there. Bit of a handshake from Crosby and Walker. Johnny Garnes was out of the race, but Bailey Stewart Campbell was in third spot, Joe Farragher in fourth, and Carter Brown, who started 15th, an epic first lap to get up to sixth, should be coming across the line in fifth any second now. But our race leader, Harrison Crosby, picks up a fantastic race win.
What a great win for Harrison Crosby. Fought through this 11-lap race. Arbitration, that last lap was his fastest lap, but 1 minute 10.561. A big thumbs up for the cameras. A handshake with Ollie Walker in second place. Bailey Stewart Campbell was third, 21.954 seconds behind. That's how big their gap was. The last lap for Bailey, 1 minute 19.420. So not having a good time in the conditions at all. He was just 3.3 seconds ahead of Joe Farragher. A great fifth place for Carter Brown, ahead of Evan Belford. Dylan Mellor was in seventh place. Thomas Gomez 1 lap down, but is in eighth ahead of James Cook. Owen Mellor finishes 10th. Jamie Woodcock was still to get around the circuit. He's only completed 8 laps, due to complete 9, and does take the checker flag, so 2 laps down, but in 11th place. 12th place for Eddie O'Shea, who was unfortunately out of that race about halfway through after leading so well for so long. Ryan Hitchcock was 13th ahead of Finn Smart and Rossi Bannon. That's your 15 runners and riders in that race, including those who didn't complete that many laps. We had no Johnny Garnes, no Kyle Payne, no Alfie Davidson, no Saffron Watley, and no Harrison McKee after that race. But the riders heading back to the paddock for a well-deserved sit down.